Well, hi folks, September 16th, Wednesday. Little bit of sun today, smoke is sort of disappearing. I see, trust everybody's fine, and everybody's doing all right. Today, this one is called From Science to Prophecy. Sort of interesting. And that was sort of triggered by Trump's visit to California about the fires, and of course everybody blaming him because he doesn't believe in climate change. You know, sometimes as great as we think we are, how we can control everything and how great we are. When it comes to climate, we are the gain, the flea, on the flea, on the flea and the dog. We control very little when you really look into it. And we can convince ourselves, and that's part of this whole Agenda 21 is to get people really fired up about climate change. And of course, the whole theory there is let's get the Western world to sort of deep six all of their energy output and fiddle around with going green, and well, let's say China and India up their production, not worrying about climate control. At least for some years, so they catch up, developing countries. So to a logical mind that says, well, so you stop production in the Western world and move it all everywhere else, what's the end game? The pollution is still there. It's like when you were a kid and they told you you can't pee in the pool, and your buddy said, well, you can pee in this corner, but not over anywhere else. I mean, it's interesting. We're a funny bunch. And I suppose it's much like this thing with masks. They're calling it science. And as we as we look at this go back to January this year, January 2020, and follow the progression of masks. It is, years ago, that would be, the old Monty Python show could have had a hell of a good time with this thing. It's interesting. No, I'm not saying good or bad, but I mean it's interesting. And same with our climate. You know, there's some major things happen that we have no control over. And in the description, I've got several links, some scientific, and some, I'm not sure if you ever read Edgar Cayce. Well, he was the sleeping prophet in the United States beginning of the last century. I think he died in 45. But that's interesting. As a young fellow, I read all of the books that were ever written about him. I found it intriguing, much like I read Nostradamus and read a lot of other things. And followed science as well. And sometimes you see a correlation. And sometimes science is nothing but a prophecy as well, because they're using the best theory that we can find at the moment. And we sort of, from the time the Earth was flat to today, it's all been based on theory, and then sometimes religion got tossed into it, and it's threw things for a loop and a fluid. But I'm not sure if any of you ever are boaters or any of you have ever sailed, and you're trying to follow a chart. Well, you know that you've got to sort of make adjustments for the magnetic North Pole when you're going north. Otherwise, you'll end up somewhere else. And it's intriguing because that North Pole has been sort of moving closer to Russia at an accelerated rate. And you'll notice in some of those links they're talking about that magnetic switch is sometimes a precursor to a total flip of North and South Poles. And of course that's all Trump's fault if it flips, right? Or it's somebody else's fault who's using a plastic straw. It's their problem if a volcano goes off. You see, sometimes we major in minor things, folks. We major in minor things. And of course we all want to keep everything clean and tidy. But the high part, and we're concerned about nature. I'm not sure through this open window if you can hear the birds. We have a ton of birds here these last few days. A lot of blue jays and that picking off orange berries off the trees, and I think they're having a party because they all seem intoxicated. It's sort of intriguing. So we're all concerned about nature, I think, and keeping our planet clean. But some things we just don't have control over, no matter how important and self-righteous we think we are that we can control. I think we have to accept it. There's some things that are beyond our control. We just have to learn to understand that and adjust for that and try to live with that. But of course, the old Agenda 21 guys, they knew that everybody would fall for their BS, and we're responsible. It's much like the systemic racism. We're all responsible. And it's interesting. I think, I'm not a fan of his, but that chubby guy, Moore, I think his last name is, sort of produced a movie called Planet of the Humans. That's interesting to watch. I think you can probably find a link on YouTube for that and watch the whole movie. I'm not a real, Michael Moore is his name. I'm not totally a fan of his, but this one was intriguing. Some of the stuff he does is intriguing, gets you to think. And I suppose if we can get everybody thinking, it would solve a lot of problems. But it's, we're a funny bunch. We are a funny bunch. So it's intriguing to check those links out if you have a mind to. Maybe you already know all that stuff, and maybe you're convinced we are in charge, that we are the all-powerful, we can control everything. The Agenda 21 guys and gals would like you to think that, because they're on their way to controlling us if we don't sort of give our heads a shake and say, well, guys, bugger off. We don't need this stupidity. But anyway, trust all is well, take care, and we'll see you again. Bye for now.